So we're going to do more factoring in this lesson. That's the topic. It says 1 factor of 5x squared plus 13x minus 6 is. So basically we have to go ahead and factor this out and then check for which factor is asking for. Okay, so this is one of the harder factors because of this 5 in the front. So I need to go ahead and start by finding two numbers that multiply together that give me 8 times c, meaning I have to first do 5 times negative 6, which is negative 30, and then they have to add up to positive 13. So I believe that's going to be, yeah, I got it. So that's 15 times negative 2. 15 times negative 2 is negative 30, and 15 minus 2 is 13. So what we do here is we're going to go ahead and, let me just rewrite it real quick so we can see it kind of flow together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the first term, and instead of bringing down the 13x, I'm going to use these two numbers. I'm going to say 15x minus 2x, and then now bring down the negative 6. Next, we need to go ahead and group the first two, group the second two, and then factor each group using the GCF. So that's 5x is a GCF, so that's going to be x plus 3, because 5x times x is 5x squared, and then 5x times 3 is 15x. And then here, looks like the GCF is negative 2. So I'm going to take out the negative 2, and so that would be positive 3, because look, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. All right, so I have my common factor, like there, and then the remaining part is 5x minus 2. That's it. So basically this has two factors. Factor number 1 is x plus 3. Factor number 2 is 5x minus 2. Well, which one of these do you see? I see 5x minus 2. Okay, so that's how you would do it. I do want to show you a little trick in Desmos. Anytime it's asking you to find a factor, it might not always work because of this thing with the GCF that'll come up. I'll show you that an example of that later. But if they're asking you just for a factor, what you can do is you can try to graph it and then look at if they have the same x-intercept. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'll go ahead and put okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in my original, so 5x squared plus 13x minus 6, and then I have these two I'm going to focus on. Okay, so if it were to factor, it would have the same x-intercept. So look, my first answer choice A, I put, and then it doesn't share an x-intercept, so therefore it ends up not being a factor. Okay, let me just kind of look at another one. I know that 5x minus 2 is a factor, and look at what happens when I look in. This one, it has the same factor. Let me ungraph this one. So look, it has the same x-intercept. Okay, so that's a little Desmos trick that you can use to find a factor. And yeah. So how about this? Let's go ahead and see if we can figure this out. See which ones are the factors using Desmos, since I kind of have an answer key, multiple choice. So let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and put my original. So you have x squared plus x minus 12. And then I can see that I have two factors here, this one and this one. So what I can do is I can just kind of put each factor separately. So you have x plus 3. Is that a factor? I'm just looking at this one. It's not, right? Because it doesn't have the same x-intercept. So I can just kind of cross this out for now. X plus 3 is not a factor. Let me try x plus 4, the next answer choice. Yeah, that is a factor. So that means now I'm going to check if x minus 3 is also a factor. Yeah, it is. Look, they both are factors. And then so I would say B is the answer choice right there. Okay? I'm not even going to bother checking the other ones. All right. So I think we can just probably go on with Desmos on this. Maybe towards the end, I will go back and do them by hand. I don't know. Let's see. There's a lot that we do for this SOL. So, all right, let's see. You should make sure to see if you can see both the factors. So there's this one and this one. And then I'll go ahead and just graph my answer choice to see if they share an x-intercept. Okay? Nope. See how it does not, yeah, it's going to go through it, but it does not have the same x-intercept, so that's not a factor. So let me try x minus 5. Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's a factor right there. Right? All right, when completely factored, 4 minus 16x plus 28y equals to what? So for this one, I don't see x squared, and it's two variables, x and y. I can graph it for you, but it really doesn't help. It doesn't have that nice little Desmos trick we can use. But I'm going to try, because maybe. Or maybe not. Right, it doesn't work. It gives me this error. Okay, so then that means I have to go back to, what is it that I can look for? Well, I can, at this point, look for a GCF. Okay, greatest common factor. This one doesn't have an x or a y. This one only has the x, and this one has a y. So as far as variables go, I don't have a common variable, but I can go ahead and look for the GCF, see if there's a number that goes into it, and we can actually do that in Desmos. So in Desmos, what I can say is just type the word, type GCF, parentheses, 4, comma, negative 16, comma, 28. So it looks like the GCF is 4. So what I can do now is I can write the 4 on the outside, and then I have to factor divide each term by the GCF. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. Negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4x. And then 28 divided by 4 is 7, I think. Hold on. 28 divided by 4 is 7. Okay, kind of doubted myself. 7, and then you have the y. So that's it. All I had to do was take out the GCF. All right, what is the GCF? What is the greatest common monomial factor? So GCMF? I don't know. And so what we want to look for is, let's go ahead and use Desmos to find the GCF for the numbers, because I cannot find GCF for something that's for variables. Anyway, I'm going to type GCF, and I'm going to plug stuff in. So I'm going to do 3, comma 6, comma 9, and then 12. So the GCF is 3, okay, for just the number part. So it's asking me to find that. So the GCF will be 3 for the number part, and then it looks like there's an x in all of them. And the most x I can take out is just 1x, okay? This is the most I can take out, because I cannot take out 2 x's from here. I can only take out 1, which means I can only take out 1 from all of them. So x, and then that's it, because this one has a y, this one does not. So there's no, y is not common in all of my terms. So the GCF is only 3x. Okay? Okay. All right, what is a factored form of 9x squared minus 25? You know, we can definitely just use Desmos. and be done with it. Yeah, let's do that. And then I will go ahead and do this by hand as well, just to show you that. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and put this in Desmos. I have 9x squared minus 25. I see that it has the two factors. So let me go ahead and type the first factor that I see, 3x minus 5. Yeah, that works. And then the other one, if this factor works, then let me try 3x plus 5. Yeah, see, that also is the other factor because it goes through the x-intercepts with my parabola. So it is A. Okay, all right, let me show you how I can do this by hand. So we have the differences of squares. So if you have a squared minus b squared, this is a formula we used, we can just say a plus b and then a minus b. Okay, so 9x squared, I can rewrite that as 3x squared because 3 squared is 9 and then x squared is x squared, minus 25, I can write it as 5 squared. So then I do 3x plus 5 and then 3x minus 5. That's what I have here. Okay. All right, so here is what is the complete factorization. So we have to pick all the factors here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this part in Desmos because this is a harder factoring one because of the 2 in the front. So let's go ahead and plug stuff in. So my original, I have 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit just to find the factors. So I have these two factors right here, this one and this one. So I'm just going to go down the list and find my two factors. That's not it. It doesn't have the same x-intercept. That's way off. All right, so this one looks like it is a factor, but we have to be careful for this one. So far, I'll go ahead and mark it, but I'll tell you that, yeah, well, okay, that one works. There's something else on that, but let's see. X plus 1 also works. And then 2x plus 3, that one works. And what else? X plus 3. X plus 3 doesn't work. Okay. So far, it looks like I had, what else for 2x plus 2? Oh, plus 2 also worked. Okay, so here's the thing. I have 3 matching factors, right? So all of these lines go through the same x-intercepts as my parabola. Okay, so then what? I will get this one wrong if I go ahead and leave them those 3 marked. The reason is because this one right here has a GCF, right? So you can actually take out a 2. So that one actually doesn't, even though it looks like it's a factor, it doesn't work, okay? Because it has a GCF inside of it. So it's going to be x plus 1 and 2x plus 3. Yeah, so let me go ahead and do this the long way just to show you now, okay? So we look for factors of 2 times 3, which is 6, that add up to 5. Well, that's just going to be 2 and 3, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 plus 3 is 5. So I'm going to do 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x, and then bring down the 3. And then I'll go ahead and copy the first, group the first 2, group the second 2. So the GCF is 2x, and then I have x plus 1 because look, 2x times x is 2x squared, 2x plus 1 is 2x. And then here looks like the GCF is 3, so you have x plus 1. Okay, so that's my first factor, x plus 1. And then the other one is 2x plus 3. So it only has two factors, and does this too. Even though in Desmos this showed it, but because it has a GCF, what I mean by that is I can take out a 2 from 1. Okay, so it has like this hidden 2, but that doesn't help us at all. Okay? All right, and then this one, when x squared minus 5 is completely factored, identify all the factors. Okay, so x squared minus 5. You notice that they have a GCF of 5. I'll go ahead and take out that GCF. So you have x minus 1, x squared minus 1, right? Because then you'd get that back. And then x squared minus 1, I can use that differences of square that we did earlier, this one, because 1 is actually a perfect square, right? Because 1 times 1 is 1. So you can do this as x plus 1 and then x minus 1. So this one actually does have three factors. You have the 5, you have x plus 1, and then x minus 1. Okay, so those are my three factors. If I had done this in Desmos, it will show me these two are my factors, but the 5 is hidden, right? So I cannot see that part in Desmos. I'm going to have to know that it is my GCF. Okay, that's where that GCF came from. And we have to choose that. All right, and then the last one. So if you notice, this one does have a GCF, 9, 39, and 30. Let me find that in Desmos just by typing it. So I have here GCF of 9, 39. The negative really doesn't matter when I'm looking at GCF, and then negative 30 is 3. So there is a 3 common in all of them. So let me go ahead and factor out that 3. So that would be 3x squared. 39 divided by 3, that's what? 13 minus 13x. Negative 30 divided by 3 is negative 10. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mark 3 as my factor because that's going to always be there. And then this part, if you want to, you can just plug it in Desmos, but it has these weird factors right here that will have the x-intercepts, and then it'll mess it up. Okay, but let me just do it in Desmos because at this point it's probably better to still do it in Desmos. So let me graph the original. So I have here 9x squared minus 39x minus 30. And then let me zoom out a little bit. So there are you guys see the factors, right? I have this one, and then I have that one. Okay, so let me do the first one, 3x minus 15. It works, but it's not one that I want to choose because these two have a GCF. 3, I can take out a 3 here. That is that 3. I've already taken it out, so I cannot use this factor. Okay? Same thing here. I cannot use this factor either because they both have a GCF. You have to recognize that GCF, that it has a GCF. Okay? All right, let me check these. So I'm not going to use that. 3x minus 2, is that a factor? Not at all. So I'll go ahead and cross that out. And then 3x plus 2, yep, that's a factor. And I don't see a GCF, so that's my legit factor. And then you have, let me keep that one actually. And then you have x minus 5. Yep, that is the other factor. Okay. All right, you can stop the video here, but I will go ahead and factor this out by hand just so you have it. So I'm looking for two factors that multiply together that give me negative 30. At the same time, they have to add up to negative 13. Wait, I feel like I did this one somewhere up here. I don't know, it looks familiar. Anyway, I will do negative 15 times 2 because, yeah, those are my two numbers. Now this 3 that the GCF that I took out, I'll have to still keep it there. And then I'm going to go ahead and now rewrite this out. So I have 3x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 10. And then keep the 3 here. So you have, I can go ahead and group the first two. And then take out a, that's the page number, 3x. So you have x minus 5 here. And then take out a 2 here. So that x minus 5 as well. Okay. So there's my common factor, x minus 5. That's the one I chose here. And then 3x plus 2. 3x plus 2. And then I have the 3 as well. So those are my 3 factors right there. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you.